So every strategy is tailor-made for different people. You see a lot of different things. I think the wildest thing I've ever seen.
I love that very much. What do you think was the shift? What made the new list more viable and more sustainable for your customers versus the first one that got 50-50?
Go outside. Do you think there's a need for what you're offering? Take outside, look at different demographics. Do you think there's a need? And be honest. Be honest. I don't know if I should, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Today on the Resonate podcast, I'm joined with Sethu, a powerhouse entrepreneur, the founder of TheBizHub SA, and a passionate advocate for helping everyday people build profitable businesses. At just 21 years old, she hit her first six-figure milestone during the pandemic and hasn't looked back since. From building Chic&Repeat, a sustainable dress rental brand, to sourcing reliable supplies from China and sharing game-changing business advice, Sethu is a go-to voice for turning hustle into real income. This conversation is packed with gems for anyone looking to start smart and scale with strategy. Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the best and the biggest sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the whole wide world. You know, when I say that, I feel it, and I hope you do too, because we are doing amazing things and talking to amazing people. My guest for today is the founder of BizHub, which is an online community dedicated to helping entrepreneurs connect with reliable suppliers today, and helps them master effective marketing strategies and build consistent sales. She made her first million in the middle of the pandemic. I have to scream saying that because what? I can't wait to actually get into it and hear more about that. She's also a lifestyle influencer and recently founded Chic&Repeat, which is a luxury dress rental company. Everybody, please welcome Sethu Ntoni. Boo, 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 boo.
It's me. You're talking about me.
It's you.
It's me.
Thank you for coming to the Resonate podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Like I can't sit down. I'm so happy to be here.
I always enjoy that so much, and it's always awesome to have people that actually like enjoy being on this platform.
I love it. It's a privilege. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So Sethu, before we kickstart, because I want to get into the meat, I want to get into that first million, I want to get into the reliable supplies, but I'm testicized in this community if I don't start our conversation by asking you a fire round of questions.
Okay.
So we can get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay? Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. The first question is, if you could only sell one product for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
I would sell my time. I love people. I love talking to people.
Nice.
Yeah, I love people from different walks of life. Yeah, I love people.
I did not think of that. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's really, really wild. Okay. Third and last question, complete the sentence. The best business advice I ever got was?
Be quick. Be quick. You have to be quick. If you have an idea, quickly execute it so you can fail quickly. When you quickly fail, you get to the money quicker. That is something I live by. Be quick.
Oh, fail fast.
Fail fast.
That's
so you can get to the
yeah.
gold.
Yeah. I'm so intrigued with the work that you do, and I've been following you on Instagram for quite some time, and I do see when you have these trips and you go to China and you help your clients source for different suppliers. What's the problem that you picked up that made you feel like this is what people need and I'm going to solve for it?
So you know what, Michelle, I see a lot of people being swindled by Chinese people because obviously it's so easy to scam someone when they are like continents away. And I didn't like that because I understand the value of a penny, especially the value of a South African penny. We don't get our money easily. So in so many cases, and it actually makes me emotional, and that's why I did everything I do, is that you'll get, a nurse who is basically cashing out, of which I never recommend. But by the time they get to me, they're like, "Hi, Sethu, I cashed out last year." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I need to help you because we need to make something out of you cashing out, you know?" So that's when it started during hard lockdown. And that's where my passion came from. And the language barrier is such a big thing. I've got like communities on WhatsApp where I teach them how to speak to vendors, because that's also important as well, and how to pay as well. Making payments to China is not cheap. There's different pay gates, and some of them are just really, really expensive, and that's essentially what I want people to know, and that's what I teach.
I like that a lot, because what I resonate with the work that you do is basically being the bridge between I've got this amount of money, or I want to start this business, but I don't know how. And sometimes they come to people like me and we say things like, just do your research. And we say, just use Google, just research, just have a look. And then the people don't actually know what to do, you know. So before the sourcing process, when you go to China and start helping people source, or when you even start sourcing for yourself, how do you validate the idea? Because I'd imagine you don't want to be spending 300,000 Rand on stock that... What if there's no market, or there's no marketing strategy to actually pushing the stock to sell? Is there a process that you use, or that you help your clients use, in terms of validating the idea first before we go for the jugular?
Yeah, so I approach all my coaching and my consultations and my mentorship programs very simply. That's the approach I use. I ask them, I'm like, if you go outside, do you think there's a need for what you're offering? Take outside, look at different demographics. Do you think there is a need? And be honest. Be honest, because if it's a yes, then okay, then I can help you. If it's a no, or if it's not common yet, but I think I can be one of the first people to do it, then it's like, okay, we can work on it. Because it's so important. I teach all my clients that you have to be honest with yourself, so that if it doesn't work out, then you remember that we started the conversation with honesty. If there was a need for it, only you can answer. Only you can answer your own questions. I can help you by, asking you the correct questions, but only you will know, because people live in different parts of the country. So you'll find that there's a high need in Sandton for installations and makeup, but you'll find that Mtuba, like, there's no need for it. So you need to look out in your community. Is there a need for what you're about to offer? So that is the path I use, and that is the journey I want my clients to use.
So it's almost like going through a needs analysis before you can just like start, because it's easy to be like, no, Sethu's selling hand, it's working, so I also want to go stock hair so that I can start selling.
Yeah, because I'm so passionate about selling online in South Africa, and just to see where what people are doing, especially Black people. Black people in entrepreneurship, not everyone, they love being a part of something. So I don't know if you remember, before and during hard lockdown, there was this phase where, the girls were selling lashes. They were selling lashes, or they were selling lip gloss. They were making their own lip gloss. Yeah, there was that phase. And then we moved on. So now the phase right now, they're selling sneakers and phones and hair and lashes. So that's what I've picked up. And whenever you get a chance to speak to me, or you'd like my assistance, I'm going to ask you like, hey, do you want to do this? Or you want to do this because you saw it online and you saw this lady with 50 orders on her video and you saw that being you? Or do you have a passion for it? And in most cases, they're like, I'd say I saw this on someone else. I'm like, okay, then go back, go discover what it is that you want to do. That you want to stick beside, because this thing is not easy. What's going to happen when you buy 50 pairs of shoes or 30 phones? What's going to happen? And it's not moving. It's not moving at the rate that you thought it was going to move at. Then what? So you need to be able to answer those questions. And if you're not able to answer those questions, don't start.
That's so profound, because I think even bringing clarity to the situation is that sometimes seeing someone succeeding in it is validation. It's like, okay, there's a market and it's viable and maybe I can.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is essentially move forward, even if it's still that thing, but move forward with the right intention for yourself.
Yeah.
And not only because you saw Sethu do it and now you are also running and you are doing it and that's the very thing that you want to sell.
Yeah, I encourage individual thinking and just people going on their own paths so much. In my circle of immediate people, so this is like my friends and, my family, everyone has just their own thing. People are killing it in corporate. Most of my friends are if not all of my friends are in corporate, and I'm the only one. And that's where I take lessons from, just being your own person, because it would have been easy for me to just stop and go get a corporate job, especially now that all my friends, they're in their early to mid 20s and, they're starting to find their feet in corporate. So obviously the checks are getting a bit bigger. And when they got bigger, mine were just like closing up. And I could have just been like, what, let me just pack up shop, let me go get a job. But I didn't. So whatever I tell you, it's something I've been through. I'm not going to tell you something I haven't been through.
Yeah. Part of what you've been through is like make your first million in the middle of the pandemic. Tell me a little bit about, was that intentional? Did you like foresee that happening? And what actually happened?
Okay, so it's not a million yet.
Okay.
But it's higher up. It's almost there. We're almost there. To be honest, Michelle, I don't know how I did that. I was 21. I had nothing to lose. I had just taken a break from school, and obviously my pockets were running dry, and my mom was kind of like fed up with me, of which any other traditional parent would be. Because it's just like, hey, when you're putting school on pause, you're saying you're doing this online thing, and obviously in a black home, when you're always on your computer, they're going to think, this one, you're playing games. So my mom was in a very tricky position with me. So I had nothing to lose. So I was just doing this. I built my own Shopify store from scratch, and I didn't even have that many followers. So I think my communication, it was just being at the right time, at the right place, because now everyone's home. Everyone wants to sell. People have lost their jobs. So I just had a good message to send out, and it did relay the way I thought it would be. And then, that's how I took it from there. And then I built it from that. Yeah. So
what were you selling at the time?
I was still selling vendor lists.
Okay.
But it wasn't refined yet. I wasn't really happy. They were selling, but there were a lot of issues with the list, and I was like, okay, the reviews are 50-50, and reviews shouldn't be 50-50. They should be, 70-30, 80-20, but they were at 50-50. So I took away the list, and then I just carried on with my consultations and my other business mentorships, because I had started other business that failed. But then I was like, okay, let me use all of that experience and then put it into the BizHub while I was still formulating the new list. So when things opened up and we could travel to China, I made it easy for people. I had collected their the vendor's WhatsApp's number, and then I just loaded onto a PDF document. And it's been the same document since 2023. I add new vendors, but essentially it's the same document. And it came back better and better and better. Michelle, if I could tell you the things people have been able to achieve with the list, I get emotional every single time.
Wow.
Where I was just there like putting together a document, not knowing that it's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I love that very much. What do you think was the shift? What made the new list more viable and more sustainable for your customers versus the first one that got 50-50?
Communication. I had made it in such a way that it's easy for my clients to communicate. So the first one, it was sort of linked with Alibaba, but a lot of people didn't know how to use the link and how to chat to vendors via that link. And it was just a lot of back and forth with the vendors. And there was just a lot of negative reviews, because you need to picture who is your most disadvantaged client. So you need to maybe pick a 20-year-old girl from Eslalini, from the homelands, who doesn't really know what Alibaba is. Can Alibaba even get to her dress? So that's what I did. I was like, okay, I need to have effective communication. So when I went to China, I took down their WhatsApp numbers and I wrote a brief description of what they do. And then that's when the shift started. And then the Chinese being Chinese, sometimes they don't respond, mainly because they've got a lot of clients.
Yeah.
So that's where I come in, where I just tell my vendors that, hey, listen, this person wants to buy this. Please take a look at their WhatsApp. And then that's when it started to actually unfold and just be amazing.
So it's almost like you built the first relationship with the supplier to enable the other person to then come in and get what they need from them, which is so, so, so powerful. What elements of, because, you spoke about putting this work out there when you started during the pandemic. What elements of content marketing do you think worked in your favor? And that would still work now for somebody who's like, I've got this business and this is what I want to do, but I'm not sure how to communicate it for people to buy.
So what I always say is that if you don't purchase your own products, why would you expect someone else to purchase your own product? Please purchase the hair. Please purchase the furniture yourself. Please purchase the clothes yourself. It's very, very important. So what helps me was that not only did I go to China with my own funds, but I purchased stuff from the list. I purchased the hair, I purchased the clothes, I purchased the shoes, I purchased the makeup, I purchased the skincare. I'm going to purchase furniture because I'm also branching into that. And it's all my money. And I always tell my community that, guys, they don't give me the stuff. I buy it with my own money just to show you that it's worth it. So if I'm willing to go first, then I think we have something, then I think you can go after. So it's very important for anyone who wants to start a business to purchase their own stuff, because using pictures from the internet, it doesn't work, especially in 2025, 2026. My money is already in 2026. But I always tell people it's so important. Please purchase your own stuff, because if you don't want to put down your own 3,000 Rand, then how do you expect someone to do that? It's not fair.
Sure. And that's essentially part of validating the idea, right? Because if you want to sell hair and then you buy it and you wear it, you're able to see if this is the perfect hair or it's not. One of the things I think you also touched on earlier is how people have been scammed by different suppliers because, we just don't know. And we're told to research, we research, and then we take action. What should somebody look for in a good supplier? Like, what makes a good supplier? It could be internationally and locally as well.
Michelle, suppliers differ, because even with my current suppliers, you'll find that they are legit, but they do put some clients on fence. Like, for example, the response time will be like really delayed. So maybe you'll find that they'll take your money, whichever way you paid, but then the communication will sometimes fall short. So with any like foreign supplier, there'll always be something that'll make you feel unsettled. That's the first thing I always relay to my communities, that guys, please don't expect like as if you're purchasing from Take a Lot or whatever. This is someone from a different continent. They don't know you. They just know that you're someone on WhatsApp. And especially with what happened with the US-China thing, they have now a huge influx. So if they are taking their time, like, don't take it personal. They haven't scammed you. They will get back to you, because the one thing that I will give the Chinese people is that they understand the value of a client. So sometimes they'll have their shortfalls, but you will be going back. So that's the first thing that you need to look at, is that you need to be okay with the fact that it's not going to be quick or as easy as you thought it was going to be. But in terms of them being legit, they are going to be legit. And we also need to remember as South Africans is that these people are literally catering to the rest of the world. So you can find that your order was just the unfortunate order that got messed up. And I deal with that all the time where, a client like gets frustrated, and I try to paint the picture. I'm like, listen, I'm so sorry. And I know that you bought the list and you trusted this person because I had recommended them. And guess what? I still recommend that same person. But that stuff also happens to me, whereby I buy something and it's like, wait, this is not it. But it's okay. I go back. So you need to have that grit, because a lot of people also give up, and I tell them that don't give up. It was just, these things happen. This person doesn't know you. It wasn't personal. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you do. They don't know your story. It was just a mistake. So I was also like that in the beginning, where I used to take things personal if a supplier like messed up my order, but you mustn't take it personal. You need to just carry on. So that's just something you need to look for. And when we talk about scam, it doesn't mean that they will take your money and run. It means sometimes they will give you the wrong color. So to deliver, they will deliver. But I think the scam element, it's not like a total scam. You'll find that, okay, this is the wrong shape or it's wrong size. So it's not something that's beyond repairs. It's like, okay, this is not what I asked for, but I can still work with it if you still can.
Did you have to move past the misconception of like, I'm a China? I think in the South African context and maybe we are being awakened to it now because of the whole USA and China thing. But before, when you look at places like China Mall or like Marabastad, and how there's the misconception that they get things from China, it's always been looked at as the cheaper quality, the quality that, the low-end people will want to buy. And now you find out that, maybe these brands, actually the big brands, also purchase from them.
Yeah. So can I tell you, when I went to China when I started to go when I was 14, 13. And when I went, I had never seen the stuff you see at China Mall. It was always high-end things. So I would always ask myself, like, these things they sell us in South Africa, where do they get them? Because the China I'm going to, it's high quality, and the stuff is not cheap. Yes, it's cheaper than, your normal retail shops, but the stuff is not cheap. So I'd never had to move past anything. And also it goes back to the thing of, I was wearing this stuff since high school, because I used to go with my mom. She also sold clothes, and we used to just wear our stuff, and they were like, there's no way this comes from China, because we know the Marabastad China.
Yes.
And we're like, no, this is proper. So there was nothing I had to move past. And even when people come to me, I've never had a conversation about quality, because when they see how I dress and the stuff I show them, they don't even question quality. They just want to get the list immediately. In fact, they come to me and they're like, Sethu, we're actually looking for that stuff we see at Marabastad. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to lie to you. This is not in my alley, but let me see where I can find it. And even when I do find it, funny enough, it's not in the list. I do have the contact, but it's not in the list, because I actually do have a lot of business owners who actually want the high quality stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want them accidentally, getting stuff from the wrong supplier. And so I have the contacts. They're on my WhatsApp, but they're not on the list. You have to come up to me and be like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And then I'll give you the contact, because I don't want people being confused, like, oh no, she only posts that stuff, but to us, she only gives us like the cheaper contacts. So I'm trying to manage that.
Yeah. I like that you are helping people source out their suppliers, get their products, and then helping them with marketing strategies to then grow, because I'd imagine they get all of these amazing products and then they don't know how to market them. What are the key elements that you recommend in terms of just being able to market? Because I'm imagining these people are starting, some of them, they're starting from scratch. Some of them are probably, maybe then they want to expand. What are the marketing strategies that you've seen work for your clients in terms of getting more money and spreading out the word?
So the first thing I usually tell them is, you need to pick a platform that you're comfortable with. I have a lot of women who are middle-aged, who are in their 40s, 50s, and they say to, I absolutely cannot do this Instagram thing, this TikTok thing. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Sell on WhatsApp. Post your clothes on WhatsApp. So every strategy is tailor-made for different people. So it really depends on what you're comfortable with. And it goes back to that thing of you need to like what you're selling. That's why I'll always ask you a series of questions that, hey, are you selling this because you like this, or are you selling this because you saw it on whoever's page? So you need to actually like what you're doing, and you need to like your product, because then when it's time for you to model whatever it is or to take content, then it shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, a drag. This is so difficult. It should feel almost effortless. Yes, it is still a bit of work, because even you and I do things where we love, but it still can be overbearing. So I tell them, I'm like, listen, do what you're comfortable with. And then at some point, you're probably going to have to break out of your comfort zone. So you'll find that, okay, you're going to probably have to move from WhatsApp to, I don't know, TikTok or Instagram. We'll see when the time is there, we'll see. Because what I've seen with my mother is that my mother's not on any social media. She, here and there, she posts on WhatsApp, but more than anything, word of mouth. If you've got great quality and you offer great service, then word of mouth does everything for you. So those are the marketing strategies that I use, where I just tell my client that, hey, listen, pick a platform that you're comfortable with, and let's do one platform at a time. And we're in an era whereby numbers actually do matter. I remember a couple of years ago where numbers didn't matter because people were following intentionally. But right now we're at a space where people just follow because they're just like, oh, I like her ring, or I like her hair, let me just follow. But now numbers actually matter. So we need to get your numbers up. Unfortunately, having 1,000 followers, it doesn't really cut it anymore. We need to get you in the 10Ks, you know. So that's also one of the strategies. And I hate making my clients feel as if numbers matter, but unfortunately they do. I see it with myself. I remember actually when you had your account taken away from you, and then randomly you disappeared. I was like, oh my gosh, where did Michelle go? Like, was I cut off? What's going on? You know, I was looking for you, and then I was like, something probably happened, and then you came back. And that's also one of the same things I learned from you, is that having other platforms is really important, because immediately when you came back and you had to start from scratch, you know what I did? I moved my community on Instagram and I moved them to WhatsApp. I was like, hey guys, please join this group. Here's a free community. I'll be dropping value. I just need you guys to WhatsApp, to go on WhatsApp right now. And that's exactly what I did. So right now we have different group chats, but it's close to 1,000 people in different group chats where should anything happen, then I can still reach out to my clients. I also have a Substack account that has, I think, 3,000 subscribers. So that's also important. That's why I also encourage my clients that, okay, after we've mastered one platform, we need to go to the next.
Yeah. The multi-platform conversation is such a big one, because, man, I think for me, that whole thing taught me that, like, Instagram doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to my auntie, it doesn't belong to my uncle.
It's not your mother.
And it really isn't. And you can lose it overnight. And if you lose it and then you lose your business, you need to ask yourself, did you really have a business?
Yes.
And I think that's what a lot of people need to realize that. And I mean, I posted something about like propaganda that I'm no longer falling for, right? And one of the things I wanted to add on that Instagram thing was the fact that like posting content is like the only marketing effort you do. There's so much more you can do to get clients. Like what you're saying, your mom is really on these platforms, but she's still getting a lot of clients. And I think it's just being able to realize that, yes, we can move with the trends and be on these platforms and be on multiple platforms, but there's also multiple ways to market our services and our products a lot more. And I think that becomes so, so, so profound. What have you seen grow within you as Sethu, as a person over the years with the growth of your business?
I don't take things personal anymore.
Ooh. You used to say, so give me an example of like when you used to take them personally.
So I'd get a client who'd want to sign up for whatever or would want to purchase whatever. And then they'll say, okay, Friday I'm going to purchase. And then Friday comes and then there's no sale and I want to close shop and I'd cry the whole day. And I'm like, how could they do this? I was banking on this. And then as you grow up as a person, you realize that people just have a lot going on.
Yeah.
People like have a lot going on. Your little 500 Rand list is not at the top of their mind. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So I just learned not to take things personal. And I learned to have a high tolerance because there's clients that will push you and push you and push you, but you always just have to smile because, you know, this is business. You can't take it personal. So I've also learned, you know, how to keep it together. But more than anything, I've learned not to take anything personal. I also tell my clients that don't take it personal. It's okay. And I always communicate to my audience because I work with volume. I have a lot of people approaching me and I'm like, listen, if I don't respond, it's nothing personal. I just have a lot of people that are inquiring about something. I need to help someone fix something. It's nothing personal. So if I respond days later, or if I don't respond, or if you have to send a follow-up message, it's nothing personal. I don't pick my clients. I don't know who you are. I've got no reason to pick you out and, you know, make you stand there. No, I've got no reason to do that. So it's very important not to take things personal in business.
Yeah.
So I've learned that as I grow up, and I've learned to love people. Even like my clients who gave me the worst time, we're fine now. We're good. I've learned to love those kind of people as well. So yeah, I never thought I'd be this kind of person because I was very emotional. I still am, but I know how to manage it. I know how to manage it.
I could definitely see that. I think just like banking on somebody that said that they're going to make a payment. And I know when you're starting as a business owner, you can just be like, oh, thank God, that's the breakthrough I've been waiting for. And then the breakthrough doesn't actually come through.
And it goes back to being quick, like, okay, this client did not pay. What do I do next? You can't dwell on it because Friday is going to come and then it's going to be Friday, 8 p.m. There's no payment or there's no proof of payment. You need to do the next thing. I'm very solutions driven. We need to do the next thing. We don't have time to sit in a rut and think about why this client. No, do the next thing.
It's what you spoke about in the beginning, like being able to be quick.
Have to be quick.
You know, because if you wallow on it and you sit on it, it takes longer, etc., etc. But it's like the quicker you are, you can actually then go get another client.
Yes, that's exactly how you approach it. So I don't sit on stuff. And the client actually does come back, but you'll find that maybe they come back like a week later, and then they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I got in a car accident," and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Yeah. And then you feel bad because you're just there like you were just there like so selfish and like thinking about the money that was promised, but someone was going through something deeper. So it's not always about you. That's also something that I've learned as well.
That's such a powerful lesson. I think people in my life have had to learn that, and easily so, including my friends, especially with the WhatsApp conversation.
Yeah.
I'm so bad with WhatsApp. And I just never have the time. By the time I get to like, I saw Mpumi on her status the other day. She was like, we need to start scheduling time to go through WhatsApp. But it's like, even when you schedule, I respond and then the other person responds. And then it's like, I'm back to freaking X amount of responses and I can't. It's a lot to handle. But that's such a powerful tool. Have you ever dealt with a business owner, an entrepreneur that within dealing with them, you kind of felt like they're not going to make it, or that they still haven't grasped it yet?
All the time. I've had clients where they have a very, very big budget and they have executed, but after the launch, because everyone likes the launch, you know, the cupcakes, the drinks, the post, everyone loves a good launch, right? But after the launch is where the real work starts. And I've had clients like that where, you know, they've even had like these big artists right now at their launches, and then when it's time to work, nowhere to be found. And there's so much you can do.
Yeah.
And I used to put it very gently with my clients, but now, because we don't have the time, you know, you don't have the time as Michelle, to sit and coddle people. I tell you that, listen, you're not going to make it. If this is how you want to carry on, you're not going to make it. And I'm telling you this because I care for you. Before, I used to just sort of leave the person to sort of piece it together. But I realized that that's actually not right. I need to tell them, what they need to hear. And I tell them that, hey, listen, if you carry on like this, all of those fancy launches, they're going to go to waste. And truly, that's exactly what happened. And it's sad. Like it's not a nice thing. Because even if you're good for the money financially, but that's not the point. The point is to get to the work. So that's what I always feel bad about is that, man, another one bites the dust. Anyway.
Shucks, man. Do you think China is always going to be the central hub for such like sourcing over the years?
Yes, I do. I do. And I was having this conversation in my head that, okay, what about Africa? And is there any way that we can sort of replicate what they're doing into South Africa? And we can, but it's going to take a very long time. Our country is amazing. If you know me, you know how much I love South Africans. I love being South African. I stand for everything South African. But there's a lot of things that are broken in this country, and it makes me emotional and makes me really sad. But we need to fix all of those things that are broken. There's a lot of bribery. There's a lot of bad stuff happening. And the reason why China sort of functions the way it does because umthetho ukhona. They're very lawful place. And South Africa, I mean, we know cool drink. If you just say cool drink as a South, you know exactly what you're talking about. So there's stuff like that we need to fix. So we can't, sort of do what they're doing and then expect the same results right now. I don't know if it's going to ever be fixed in South Africa, or if it does, it's going to take a very long time for us to, because we're broken. We're broken as people. A lot of things have happened to us that shouldn't have happened in terms of the economy. Yeah, a lot of things are broken and they can be mended, but it's just going to take time. So while that happens, China's still going to lead. And like I said, China's quick. But what I also really like about the direction we're headed as South Africa is that I went to go get my passport. I went Monday, Friday was out.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Progress.
I was really impressed. So I do believe that we could get there. But we need to unite as a country. Sorry to go all Ubuntu, but we need to unite as a country. That's the only way. We mustn't try to cheat each other and rob each other and do all of these terrible things to each other. But we'll definitely get there. When, I don't know, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Me too. It will obviously take a lot of years, because when you look at a country like China, they're not a democratic country, especially to the level that we are. So even just how they're working and our working is slightly different. So I can understand that. And I mean, there's obviously been this conversation of like tariffs and Trump, and now finding out that all these big brands source from China, and that's how is that going to affect, or is it even going to affect the local businesses that are sourcing their things from China and selling them in South Africa?
No, I don't think so. Not right now. That's also another question I do get. And I always respond with, hey, is it affecting you right now as we speak? Has Trump's speech been affecting you? And the answer is no. I'm like, okay. For as long as the answer is no, you keep on going. Until there are new stats or data that comes into play, then you keep on going. But I do think we have an issue with shipping. We have a very, very big issue with shipping. I don't even want to talk about it, but we have a very, very big issue with shipping, and I don't see it getting better. I see that as possibly getting worse. It could be fixed, but I don't think it's going to. And it's not a problem with the stuff leaving China to South Africa. The stuff gets here. The problem is when it gets here to the Durban harbor or, when it gets here to South Africa, that's where the problem is. But that's a topic on its own.
So it's more like an administrative issue that is happening there. If it's like the internal distribution after it's moved from there.
Yeah.
Is it a political situation or just a administrative within that respective department?
It's both. It's both, because we also have the issue of the counterfeits and everything. So it's a bit of both. You see that, I see that being a problem for quite some time. But it shouldn't stop you. I still ship stuff from some of my products for Chic&Repeat. I definitely use shipping and my stuff gets to me. But sometimes it's not as easy because I have to fetch things from the warehouse. I'll get a text that, hey, our warehouse was raided. And I'm like, what do you mean? My stuff is in there. I didn't buy any counterfeit stuff. Why am I involved? So I have to, the moments where I have to go to the warehouse and I have to go dig and find my stuff because the police left the place upside down. And it goes back to what I was saying, that you need to like what you're doing. Because can you imagine on a cold day like this, driving to Kempton Park, because that's where most of them are, to go look in a very, very big and cold warehouse for your stuff. Your stuff is scattered around. It's not fun, but it has to be done.
Yeah. What do you think is the disconnect between what you're talking about, which is that delivery process, to companies like your Shein, where they seem to have sort of kind of mastered it?
Okay, so platforms like Shein are regulated. They're compliant. China is also compliant, but the problem is here, when the stuff gets here, it depends on what you're shipping. And I'm sure you've seen on the news that 1 million rand worth of counterfeit stuff taken at the Durban harbor and stuff like that. So the problem is that platforms like Shein and Temu, even though your couch is going to be the size of this coffee mug, but that stuff is regulated.
Yeah.
That stuff is regulated, and they're very compliant. And the reason why you can't get any compliance in some of this stuff that we as individuals ship is that there's a problem with the counterfeit stuff. So how do you get papers for counterfeit Burberry? You can't. Can't.
Shucks. So how's Maraba started then doing it?
We're a broken country.
Of course.
We're a broken country.
Makes sense. Sure. Sethu, this was very informative. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did.
I did. Like I said, I'm extremely subscribed.
Yeah. It's like there's normal subscription and then there's extreme subscription.
I'm extremely subscribed, so I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely awesome. Resonate community. You have no excuse. If you've been thinking of starting a business, you've got a bit of cash and you're saying, I just don't know what to start. I just don't know what to do. You have no excuse, because we're literally bringing somebody to you who's got a list of supplies you can try out for different products until you possibly find the one that you're passionate with. Or if you already know, you literally have that. So thank you so much for tuning in for this podcast episode. We hope that you learned so much. It was so informative for me. I mean, there were so many things that I learned today that I didn't actually realize are affecting the value chain of some of the companies that we deal with, some of the companies in our memberships. So I hope it was enlightening to you too. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on our next podcast episode. Have a good one. Goodbye.